Now, should we sing Happy Birthday to Joe?
Please don't sing the whole song. My mum sang the whole song, and she does it every single year. And I'm just like, oh no, stop.
That's really sweet of her.
It's lovely.
It's really nice.
God bless you, Shelley.
She'd actually listened to a fair few of them.
Is
she because I asked Dominique earlier if she'd listened to any of them. And she was like, no, I haven't. I've been meaning to get round to it, but Mum's like your biggest fan, and she told me to listen because it's really funny.
Yay.
We've actually never given your mum a shout out either.
No.
Shout out Shelley for being one of the best 6 mothers ever.
Love it.
Happy. No. Do you know Michael Jackson used to have the rights to the Happy Birthday song?
Is that true? Because I know it came recently into public domain, right? In the last couple of years. But I thought it had to be owned for like 100 years before that.
Doesn't copyright lapse after 50?
Yeah,
Really?
Depending on when it was written, actually.
Yeah.
So, like, I think
because Michael Jackson's got his own like birthday song, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah.
That's slightly different.
Yeah.
And so has Stevie Wonder. Has Stevie?
Yeah, he's got.
Yeah, but
I haven't heard the Michael Jackson one. This is news to me.
I think it's actually the Jackson 5, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Or maybe it's just him.
Yeah.
It's when he's really young. But I thought he had it, or someone like one of those mega rich pop stars like Prince or whatever. So every time it was like on a TV show or whatever, Happy Birthday. I mean, this could be one of those like urban
I reckon
myths.
you've been had, mate. I don't think this is a true news story at all.
Implausible.
Now, introductions. Do you want to do it as it's your birthday?
I've forgotten it, and every week I take the piss out of you for doing it incorrectly.
See, you have to stop
harder.
and think. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Slate 6 podcast. This is episode 12, where we talk about all things movies, major Hollywood happenings, and more.
Nailed it.
Boom.
Well, I'll stop you there though.
Okay.
Unless you want. Actually, no. You can introduce us.
And on my left we have Andrew Slay,
Hello.
and on my forward we have Arlo Barry.
Good evening.
I want to. I thought of a way to update.
Well, yeah, because I was actually going to mention this to you because we don't just talk about movies anymore, do
No.
we? We kind of have
TV
a wider
as well.
span.
Yeah.
Is that
well,
how you
I
want
was
to
gonna.
update it?
Yes. Well, because this week we're going to be talking TV recommendations. I'll explain why afterwards, but I was thinking, ready for this. So, how does it start again?
Hello and welcome.
Are you doing the click clack song again?
No, not this time. So instead of we talk television, top tales of Hollywood, and to be continued.
Oh, I liked major Hollywood happenings.
Yeah. Top tales. Yeah.
Though. Maybe you split it up. So, top tales from TV, major Hollywood happenings, and more.
And more. Okay.
Next
week.
All right.
Tune in.
Got to keep the alliteration in there though.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah. That's
What's
the
the
whole
alliteration called when it's just S's?
Sibilants.
Sibilants. That's it. Is there any more like that?
Yeah, assonance. I think it's if it's vowels in general, not just A's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are a well of knowledge.
A
wordsmith.
A font.
So this week originally we planned to review It Chapter 2, but we've actually fudged up all our schedules, and
We've
also
all been
Probably my
fairly
fault,
busy.
to be fair.
well,
no,
I think all of us. It's because of me. We end up recording on Monday or Tuesday nights.
Well, no, we just got out of sync, haven't we?
Yeah.
So you were away.
ironically.
Oh, I'd missed that completely. Yeah, you were away, and then obviously I had my dissertation hand in, and then it was my birthday party this weekend, so that's why I've been rushing them out the door. But
Yeah,
we're back.
we're back. Well, I think we'll go back to recording on weekends. Not that anyone cares us talking about this, but if anyone is expecting It Chapter 2,
Well,
anyone being thanks for listening.
my
Anyone?
sister was getting angry the other week that she basically listens to this on her commute to work,
And
and
we're
she's
not
like, "Where's where is the latest episode? I need it.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's really nice.
Oh,
That's really nice.
So she got a bit upset.
I actually got a birthday message from her today as well, which is
Did
really
you?
sweet.
Yeah, her
It
and my
woke me up, which I was furious about. But
her and my parents are stuck in Nice at the moment. I think
oh really?
they went to a wedding out there over the weekend, and BA are on strike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this.
Yeah. So they just sent me a picture from the beach today. I was like, oh,
Oh, they're just gonna stay.
yeah,
I would.
Yeah.
There's a lot worse places to be stuck.
yeah, agreed.
Oh yeah. So sorry, I'll cut that out. That's me getting my thoughts back on track.
No, don't cut that out.
Okay. So It Chapter 2. Do you know the runtime is like almost 3 hours?
Yeah, it's really long, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are the reviews coming out looking like?
I looked on the way here, and it's kind of not as good as Chapter 1, but
Still good.
still good. So I think, as no one's reacted like the internet does, like, oh my god, it's the best thing ever. Oh my god, it's the worst thing ever.
mediocre.
I think it's just a good, solid movie.
Yeah,
Not
okay.
mediocre because people are talking about it, but
I'm not sure I like James McAvoy. I've decided.
Really? Is this
Yeah.
your new hot take?
Well, I just don't like him. I just don't want to see anything he's in.
Hmm.
I think he's quite unspectacular.
I'm trying to think
I
what he's.
think he's. I'm kind of leaning towards agreeing with you, actually.
Well, he was in Dark Phoenix, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was in Dark Phoenix.
I just
obviously.
hate everyone in that.
Split.
Well, yeah, but I mean, before that, it was. Oh no, wait, which was the first one? Split or what's?
Yeah, what Glass was the one.
Glass.
No,
that's the one,
Unbreakable was the first one.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, Split was pretty good though.
Yeah, I don't know.
One of M. Night Shyamalan's only decent films.
Shamalamalam.
Yeah,
I think Unbreakable is really good.
Unbreakable's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else has James McAvoy been in then?
What's the one where he curves the bullets?
Oh, Wanted
Yeah,
with Angelina Jolie.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
He just seems to be in a lot.
Yeah, he is in a lot.
Romeo and Juliet.
Is he actually in? Maybe
Or was it, oh no, Sherlock Gnomes.
Shut up.
Actually, maybe he is in Romeo and Juliet as well. Maybe he signed on for like a 3 or 4 film deal.
You know how that.
He's in a really good film though, isn't he? Oh, what? Oh no! Wait, what's the one where he's got a really strong Scottish accent? And
Well, he is
All of them?
Scottish.
But he what? Oh, what? So his Xavier's got a really strong Scottish accent, has he? No. It's like it's called like Grit or something
Gene. Stop using your powers, Gene.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
McAvoy.
I don't. I think he's solid in First Class.
Actually,
He's fine as an actor, I'd say.
I think I'm gonna. Oh, Filth. That was it. That I was thinking of. I think I'm gonna agree with you, Arlo. Yeah, Chronicles of Narnia, where he plays like a half goat man, doesn't he?
Satyr? Is it a satyr? Satyr? Whatever you call it. That's what you call like a not. Oh no, or was he a centaur? I think he's a centaur. In that,
Is that half horse?
No. He was like.
He was half goat.
Half goat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Half
that is a
goat.
satyr.
Oh wait, he was in Wimbledon in 2004.
Oh, what a great film. Oh,
Paul Bettany and Kirsten Dunst.
imagine going from Wimbledon to Avengers. That is the trajectory of Paul Bettany. He's in a film as well where he just plays like a I think it's like a bodyguard, like a bald bodyguard who doesn't
Really?
say anything. He's just silent.
What, James McAvoy?
No, Paul Bettany.
Oh, Paul Bettany.
I think maybe we could do some kind of episode on actors that are kind of like cruise.
Just like
cruising.
stealing a career, basically. Yeah.
Well, we all know your choice.
There was some news about. Oh, it was his birthday, wasn't it? Prick.
Quite close to yours, Joe. Have you ever thought about doing a joint birthday with him?
Well, me and Idris Elba.
Yeah, just rocking back.
Yeah, he's a terrible actor. James McAvoy. I'm agreeing with you.
Well, I didn't say terrible. I just said he's unspectacular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. News. Who's got news? I've only got one thing.
I've got a couple of things. So
Oh, cool.
Should we kind of?
Do you want me to go first? Or do you want to do one? Okay.
From
One, one,
Hall H.
Well, how about
How
about we do
joke
it?
every week?
Hot from Hall H? Yeah, because it's never not going to be funny.
How about we do it like a tennis rally? A la Wimbledon.
I get it.
Back me up.
No. So which
Novak Djokovic.
one to choose first? So what?
I said Novak Djokovic.
I thought it was good, even though it was.
Should we start the podcast again?
I can leave if you want.
So, have you heard much about the Netflix release of the new stand-up from Dave Chappelle?
No.
So it's called Sticks and Stones, and it's caused quite a stir on the World Wide Web. Basically, what happened was it came out, and it's very edgy. Like, have you seen many Dave Chappelle stand-ups
Yeah, one,
in the past?
but I do not remember.
It's usually quite close to the line stuff, isn't it?
It is very close to the line. Like, he says some stuff that might be going too far, but basically it came out, and the first people that were to review it were all the critics, and it was a lot of left media. So they saw it, and they decided to basically make a stand, and it got 12 reviews from different outlets like The Guardian and CNN and stuff like that, and they all gave it 0%. So in response to this,
Go on.
it's come out, and everyone else has been like, well, this is just stupid. You're giving it 0%. You're trying to like stop people from watching it. So the audience gave it 100%.
Amazing.
So it's on Rotten Tomatoes at the moment. I think there's been one more critical review, so it's not on 0% anymore, but it's currently on a really low critical review and 99% for audience view.
I completely agree with the audience for doing that. I hate it when, okay, just because these outlets are aligned a certain direction, it shouldn't affect. You should be going into like whatever medium it is, like music, TV, stand-up. You should be going in neutral. Like, it doesn't matter what you think. Like, especially comedy, it's subjective, isn't it? It's like
exactly. And trying to basically like stop people from watching it by giving it such a low score is just that
makes me want to watch it more.
Exactly. And I did watch it.
Sweet.
Yeah. So, and yes, there were parts that I was like, oh, like he talks about like school shootings a bit,
right?
And he doesn't believe any of the Michael Jackson allegations,
right?
As well.
I mean, like, especially in comedy, there's context, and if you don't find something funny, you don't laugh. But I'm sure there's at least a couple of jokes in there.
Oh, like there's some bits that I thought were hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, he talks about like going into Walmart to basically like buy a gun to defend his home, and he buys a shotgun, and the guy behind the desk is like, "What bullets do you want? Do you want like the duck bullets or the like elk bullets or something like that?" And he's like, "Oh, what are the duck bullets?" And the guy's just like, "That won't kill a man." It's like,
Jesus.
Yeah, but his delivery's so good, and like his jokes are really well crafted. Yeah, it might be on the line, but like he's a good comedian.
Yeah.
And to try and like hide audiences from it because you want to get basically brownie points from different like communities of people watching it or not watching it is wrong in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I thought it was quite an interesting point to.
You got thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think giving anything 0% on Rotten Tomatoes or something that's so in the public eye is basically censorship.
Yeah.
Which is why you're going to get such a backlash from audiences who
Yeah.
then watch it and want to formulate their own opinions and ideas on it.
Yeah.
We are at a really, like, just in wider society, which is partly why I think, without leading onto it, Joker is so prescient in its subject matter, where like leftist extremism is kind of very much on the rise.
Yeah.
Like I would say, like I'm a leftist, definitely like quite liberal. Definitely have liberal opinions and thoughts, but I don't think it gets to the point where just because someone's like comedy special is a little bit close to the line, or maybe even oversteps the line, that you should be making sure, or like going out of your way to make sure people don't watch it.
Yeah. They've massively shot themselves in the foot by doing this as well, because it's brought attention to this type of censorship and made probably more people watch. Like, if I turned on Netflix, I probably wouldn't put on the a new
No.
Dave Chappelle stand-up, but I watched it because I knew that there was so much controversy behind it.
It's actually more offensive than anything else that they decided to do this, and they just like. I mean, it speaks to their unintelligence.
Yeah.
None of them have looked at lessons in history where you censor things, and then people are like, actually, we're going to draw all of this attention to it now that you've tried to censor it. So I don't understand what their angle was there.
No.
And they've just arbitrarily decided for everyone that you shouldn't watch it based on like their political beliefs. It's like, no, that's for a viewer to decide. There, as a reviewer, your job is to like, just weigh it up on each side and be like, okay, although I don't like the whatever,
And have they watched Frankie Boyle?
Yeah,
well,
well, this is the other thing, isn't it?
This is probably why they've like,
or if they watched reruns of Bullseye like you two.
yeah, that's true. Some of what Jim Bowen says on those episodes is just not okay in this day and age.
Especially, I mean, commenting on school shootings and stuff. I mean, I don't know what I haven't seen the special. I don't know what Dave Chappelle said in it. But people like it. It pervades like all popular culture. It's in music as well. Like Eminem mentions Columbine in Rap God, I think it is. And you don't have. I know it was like kind of controversial at the time, but you don't have people queuing up to say, "Oh, 0 out of 5 stars, 0 out of 6 stars for this album." You shouldn't listen to it.
I think the reason these outlets did this is because his content on the LGBTQ community, like they're trying to basically pander to their base audience by saying, "Oh, this has got 0 stars because Dave Chappelle, for a 5-minute section out of his hour-long thing, calls the LGBT community the alphabet people and does a few jokes about it." So they've completely disregarded all of the other stuff that he said and just given it 0 stars to be like, hey guys, look how left we are.
Well, that's what I'm also a bit shocked by. Like, the LGBT community is typically really good at taking things like that in stride and just and kind of owning it rather than, I don't know, reacting like this. So I don't know. That's all a bit. I really don't like any of that. And I think it's also, it speaks volumes about why the Slate 6 are eventually just going to overtake Rotten Tomatoes, because it's a morally bankrupt platform that encourages censorship. And it's on the fall.
Yeah, exactly. Like some of the stuff that he was saying, I didn't think was that funny, and some of it I didn't think should be said. But watch it, make your own opinion. Don't let a bunch of conglomerates make your decisions for you. This has gotten very political very quickly.
I think it needs to be talked about, but we can move on.
Just one more thing.
Go on.
I also find it highly ironic that Americans, who literally always jack off to the right to bear arms and the right to free speech, are basically saying you can't say what you want anymore.
There was a couple of English outlets as well, like The Guardian and stuff that I said, but
fuck cares what they think.
Exactly. Yeah, give it a watch, guys.
I do actually, just to take another swipe at The Guardian. They have that weekend magazine, and it's just like, it's got like home buyers things, and it's like wreck of the week, and it'll be like almost £500,000 for like some shack in the countryside, and they're calling it, like wreck. Oh, it's just.
It's basically that kind of pull out of the paper on Sunday is just like 25 pages of what marble might be best for your kitchen top. And no one cares.
So my news is Hayley Atwell's being cast in the next Mission Impossible. Hayley Atwell, who is Peggy Carter in the Marvel universe. So I imagine she's probably going to be playing a British spy.
She's playing. Sorry, what?
She's just been cast in the new Mission Impossible.
I can't believe they're still making those.
Oh. They're getting better and better.
Did you see the last one?
You haven't seen many of them.
I know that Simon Pegg's in. Is it Ghost Protocol?
He's in a few of them.
He's in all of them but 1 and 2, I think.
Yeah, he comes in 3.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's
okay. I like Simon Pegg, so.
Yeah.
I don't like Tom Cruise. We've mentioned that before.
Yeah, I'm weirdly obsessed with how crazy he is, but he's clearly a maniac.
Like you, Andrew.
Obviously, we know her as Peggy Carter, but
I imagine she'll just be playing the same British spy, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Well, it's difficult to.
She plays it well, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly.
It's often difficult to see past an actor or actress's main role, the role that brought them into the limelight.
Yeah,
and the Marvel universe is so huge that.
Yeah, I actually saw Hayley Atwell in a play called...
Did you meet her on the tube?
No. I tell you what, actually. Do you know what? After your birthday party...
Yeah.
So Joe's party had a party on Saturday
Here we
night
go.
for his birthday. I got the tube home on the overground. It wasn't Taika Waititi. It was a man with a shaved head with scratch marks down his face, wearing a jumper too small for him and a blue tracksuit. Walked past me, came back, like grabbed both my legs. Was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, mate, if I was rude." And I said, "Oh, you weren't, but that's fine." And then he sat down opposite me and started talking to me. And he was definitely drunk because we basically started up a conversation. And then he was like asking how old I am, like he was telling me things, and he was like, "Oh, okay, so you're this age." I'd say my age, I guess, like nearly 30, in our 30s. And he was like, "Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about." And it turns out his favorite movie was The Matrix, and all of the sequels.
Oh,
and it was
good when you said just The Matrix.
So he moved across from the seat opposite me. Bear in mind, I was like, 5 people on the whole train. It's like, I think 1:30 I left.
Yeah, about then.
He came and sat next to me, and his breath just like stank of booze and weirdly like cherry cough sweets or something. And he had like a gold plate as well, like over his teeth. And he was telling me how the story of the Matrix is real and life is a simulation. And it was the whole tube ride because he's like, "Oh, I'm getting off at the same stop as me."
Oh no.
Yeah, and I had to endure that.
I would have just got off and got back on, Andrew.
Really? No,
Yeah,
because at
absolutely.
that time, every 15 minutes, the train.
Yeah, right. For me, waiting 15 minutes is worth not being spoken to by an absolute nut job who might try and wear my skin.
When you got off the tube at the same stop, did he try and walk in the same direction as you, or?
No, I played it, so like we walked the way down, and when he started to turn that way, I went, "Oh, I'm going this way," and went the other way.
No.
Luckily, it was the right direction.
Juked him.
Yeah, but he was also trying to sell me drugs and stuff, whatever. So
weird.
Good luck to him, but he's a Matrix fan, so shout out for that. I can't remember what started that off.
Yeah,
what was your news?
It was about not Peggy Carter, Hayley Atwell.
Oh yes. Yeah. Okay.
So that's all I really got this week. My other thing was It Chapter 2's just doing well at the box office. Just seems to be fine.
I see you keep glancing at my laptop screen, and I know why you're glancing at it. It's
Well,
because you can see Tom Hanks.
Is that who that is? I was looking at the font that says Matt Mason.
Yeah, you fuck.
Yeah, so this is my second bit of news.
Dreamy.
Tom Hanks heading back to space as metal action figure Major Matt Mason.
What?
That is quite the sentence, isn't it?
That had some alliteration, didn't it?
Oh, God, yeah.
That's why Arlo was so quiet. He was just taking it all in. So, Mattel, the...
Mattel, right. The toy brand.
Oh, is it?
I think it's Mattel.
I don't think I've ever heard it said. I've always just seen it written down.
Hayley Atwell.
So, Mattel...
I remember where I was going with that point, but it doesn't matter.
So, Mattel came out with
Just call it Mattel, it's better.
No, Mattel. So, an undisclosed company in the 1960s had an action figure called Major Matt Mason, who was a space explorer that worked and lived on the moon. Basically, like during the Cold War and stuff, it sold loads because it was really popular.
Because everyone wanted the moon.
Everyone wanted
space
the moon.
race.
Yes.
Yeah, space race. And so, for some bizarre reason, they're making a live-action film about Major Matt Mason. And
there's going to be so much David Bowie music in that film.
Yeah, right.
And Tom Hanks has the lead. When I read this, I was like, that is so meta, having like an actor that's like not mostly but very well known for playing a toy.
What's the working title of this, by the way?
I'm guessing Major Matt Mason.
Because it sounds like the director of Castaway has looked at what the Fast and Furious franchise has been doing and decided, where do I take Castaway for a sequel to space?
Fast and Furious genuinely going to space?
Oh, well, it's the only frontier they haven't. Space is the final frontier.
Well, Well, it was just one of the writers of Fast and Furious that said, "Yeah, I want to do space."
I would love to see
The Rock in space.
all of them in spacesuits, just with their bald heads in those.
I like to imagine that Vin Diesel's spacesuit would still somehow incorporate a vest.
I just want to see a 0G fight. That would be amazing.
Yes,
That'd be
where
so
The Rock
good.
still punches with the force of 10 men.
Yeah. Well, I told you guys on our group chat that The Rock was his own best man at his wedding.
Oh my god, that is absolutely hilarious.
What a twat.
I was going to get a best man, but then I realised I was the best man.
I'm the size of 2 men.
Can you talk me through that? Has he talked about why he did that?
Well,
Does
it
he
was
give a
actually.
speech?
Was it just because it was a really private wedding? And
Yeah. It is on. It's actually weird. I don't know how I ended up on The Rock's Instagram, but I was like reading his. Just looking at The Rock.
Well, you just finished with Tom Hanks' Instagram, and you thought I'll have a little browse.
He doesn't have one.
Had that for the main meal and the Rock for dessert.
So, and it was something like him just saying, I won't be having a best man because there's something to do with his cultural beliefs, I think. So we probably shouldn't laugh, but.
Oh, okay, well, you made it seem like he was just being an absolute dickhead. Apparently he's...
Well, it does come off that way, slightly.
Well, I mean, if it's part of his cultural beliefs, then
I
not
don't
really.
know. I would load the post up, but.
Okay. Well, now, sorry. Well, I will apologise to Dwayne The Rock Johnson for being his own best man. It seemed pretentious, but if it's part of your beliefs, then you do you.
Right, I'm going to read it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find it.
Talking to.
I can tell.
At The Rock.
I can tell a story about another nut job.
Go on.
So on Friday, we had like our company's once a year conference, and there was like beers put on for everyone afterwards. And I think you're familiar with Rowan's, aren't you, Slay?
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, in Finsbury Park. So the natural progression, because it was at the Emirates, was that everyone tried to then move on to Rowan's, and this is at I think it's like 11 or half 11 or something. And there were a couple of like my colleagues who were a bit worse for wear, so I was trying to look after them. So I didn't immediately go into Rowan's. And then when I tried to get in with a couple of my mates, they were deemed too drunk to enter, and because I was with them, they moved me away. So
Right.
they said, "You're not getting in." Despite all of my colleagues in there having a great time, including my American colleagues who were only over for the week.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get in, had no phone battery, basically just had to come home. Before I came home, there was a guy. So there were 3 of my colleagues on this traffic island.
Yeah.
I went across to talk to them to see what their plans were. And this guy stands half a metre away from me.
Right.
And I turn around and he's a creepy looking dude.
Okay.
He's got his hood up, he's really wide eyed. And he's just grinning at me. And I was like, sorry man, do you need to stand so close? What's going on? And he's like, I'll stand where I want, and just keeps doing this, doesn't change his stare, doesn't change his grin. And then, I had a few beers. I may have told him to fuck off, at which point he wasn't too pleased, and he said he was going to call his boys. So I promptly turned around and pegged it into Finsbury Park Station. But
Wait, can I tell this bit?
yeah, you can tell this bit.
So he went to the police that were
Yeah.
there, luckily. I was like, there's a dodgy looking guy there. And so had a little chat, and he was like, right, okay, I'm going to get on the tube now. At which point he was like, I need a disguise in case the guy sees me. So what he did was took off his coat and ditched his coat because if the guy had seen him and been like, that looks exactly like the same 6'5" guy that I had a run in 2 minutes ago with, but he's not wearing a coat, so it can't be him.
Did you put your coat
And
in the bin?
so he's where is it? Do you throw it on the floor?
Yeah, no, I left it at Finsbury Park Station, I think. Just on one of the benches, which I also now retrospectively realise is a really awful idea because it could shut down the station if someone's like, this is unattended baggage or an item. So sorry, TfL. Usually it's you apologising to me, but this time, yeah, I was.
Oh yeah, what was the whole thing about the TfL shutdown? You guys were messaging on the group chat.
Oh, me and Andrew had a
Northern
little
Line.
disagreement.
The Northern
Yeah.
Line went down.
Well,
I basically just think TFL are a gaggle of twat.
Well, I do too. The thing that
you didn't. You were defending them. No. Don't change your tune.
No, I was more annoyed at they do severe cock-ups. I mean, that whole like Elizabeth line or whatever for a start. But the thing that annoyed me, it was actually probably one of those newspapers we were talking about a minute ago. The thing that annoyed me was like the tweets. And it's actually the newspaper's fault as well as TFL's. But the top tweet was like, thanks, like TFL, blah 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 blah. I guess I'm gonna have to brave the bus now. And it's like, the buses. I know, like you obviously don't travel well on a bus, but it's like the buses are not a dangerous place to be. No. Any more dangerous than the tube.
Yeah, and these things happen.
Yeah, exactly. That was my point. But it's just more like people's personal outrage.
Yeah, the snobbery is a bit much.
Yeah,
but
a friend of mine who works at a Northern Line stop or somewhere where you change on the Northern Line.
The guy you met on Saturday night.
Not that crazy man. He said to all his colleagues, what did he say? How about you just don't live on the Northern Line? And apparently that didn't go down well. Shout out Aaron, actually. I've given him a shout out before. Nice. So there we go. Nice. Right, this post from The Rock, because we should move on from this.
Oh, also, Joe, did you catch up with Dave, long-time listener Dave, as to his favourite directors?
No. No, we ended up talking about the new Dune film that's coming out. Because that's his like favourite franchise. And obviously got butchered like
by Sting.
Yeah, but it's got there's been like a load of cast news about it. It's got like Jason Momoa and
really?
Timothy Chalamet has been cast in it and stuff. I think it's coming out next year.
Well, there's a really interesting documentary about the making of the original one and all its like problems.
I don't really feel equipped to talk about Dune because I think it's such an important franchise to some people and it's so deep in lore that like if we get something wrong, people are going to be like, ah! But from what he was saying,
it's like someone talking about Marvel in front of Joe who knows nothing about it.
But from what Dave was saying, he's quite hopeful of the remake, with the exception of Jason Momoa. Cast.
What did he say in Justice League? It was in the trailers.
Like, we watched Aquaman the other night, didn't we?
Yeah. Ooh-ah. Oh yeah, we watched Aquaman last week. No,
absolutely.
But yeah, I feel like a bit of a fraud before that, like talking about Marvel and DC without actually seeing some of them. So I thought I'm just going to bite the bullet and watch this pile of crap.
They really over sexualized Amber Heard in that film as well.
Really?
Like obviously they're like, well, a lot of the scenes are going to be underwater or near water or around water. How tight can we make Amber Heard's outfit in this film? And actually, everyone said the effects were good, but I didn't think they were very good.
I didn't think they were that good. Anyway,
do you want this rock?
I want this rock news.
Okay. For my wedding, I served as my own best man and groomsman. I'm blessed with many men who I call friends and a handful who I consider my brother. This time around, I needed to go solo, and my groomsman and best man were the spirits of my loved ones and ancestors who are no longer with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we love you, Rock.
Yeah, we do love you.
I love the
Rock. Yeah, I'm a fan, but
I've changed my mind again. I think that's really pretentious.
Another bit of news.
Well, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's a new Bad Boys trailer.
I have seen it.
Have you seen it?
I didn't watch it.
So, Bad Boys 3 trailer dropping, I believe it's the 17th of January 2020.
It's next year.
Firstly, it's called Bad Boys for Life, so they've completely ruined the fourth film name because that's what it should have been.
What?
Well, you call the fourth
one. Oh, there is a Bad Boys 3, isn't there?
No, this is Bad Boys 3.
Is it? Oh, yeah, it is.
But they've called it Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah, but they're not going to make a fourth one. This is the last one.
It better be, because the trailer is absolute trash.
Did you think so?
Martin Lawrence has... I read a little bit about I read a little bit about this as well. Apparently, like, they had a schedule to film, and they were like, Martin, take a seat. You
Actually, stay standing.
Because these are expensive chairs, and we don't want you to break them.
Oh, serious? Has he got?
You are too large. You need to hit the gym. And so I think he hit the gym for a while, but then they were like, we really need to start filming now, so we're going Fat Thor with you. And he's a big boy in this film.
So he's going to be the butt of
Yeah.
All jokes.
But it kind of works because he's talking about retirement in the film.
Yeah, I suppose it does.
It's like he's going to be like Murtaugh, I'm getting too old for this shit.
I mean, I don't know if the first two were good films or not because they came out when we were kids. And I enjoyed them at the time, but this one just looks really silly and stupid.
I think 2 was that. Yeah, 2 was really stupid too. I feel like 1's pretty solid though. As like a cop.
One's okay.
Yeah.
2 is a bit ludicrous, really.
Yeah.
The villain in that, I can't remember who the actor is, but the villain's called Johnny Tapia, and he's meant to be. I think he's meant to be Cuban.
Yeah, I think.
And he's kind of very not believable.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but it was always the second of the like buddy cop team ups. Whereas Rush Hour was always like the number one.
Lethal Weapon.
GOAT. Oh, well.
What, in terms of comedy?
Yeah,
comedy.
Comedy cop, like Jackie Chan and what's his name?
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock in Rush Hour is so much better than Will Smith and Martin Lawrence in Bad Boys. I
like both of them. I'm not going to compare the two. And I don't think any of them are particularly intelligent or like well put together films, but they're just enjoyable. It's like one of those franchises you grow up with, and you're like, I can't be angry.
The bit I did, I don't know if it's Bad Boys 1 or Bad Boys 2, when the guy goes to the house to pick up
that's
Lawrence's
Bad Boys 2
daughter, and they're both there. That scene is hilarious.
You at least 30. Can you fight?
Yeah. It's Bad Boys 2 at the start where they like infiltrate the KKK as well, don't they?
Yeah.
Blue power. Yeah. So we're not going to be watching that. We're not going to be reviewing that.
Are we not?
Bad Boys for Life? I want to see that. Come on.
January.
I suppose
time?
we did watch Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
We ride together. We die together, Joe.
It's going to be bad though. It's going to be real bad.
Bad Boys.
Yep.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't have high expectations for it, but I think it'll be enjoyable.
And that time of year, there's nothing much. Award season's over.
Well, that's
By then?
exactly when the Oscars are.
Oh, okay.
I think it might be that weekend.
Closer
Michael
to the time.
Bay's been really strategic here.
Or is it Bruckheimer?
Isn't it usually the third weekend in January?
It's February.
What,
the Oscars?
Oh, is it?
Second week of February, isn't it?
Oh no, next year is 9th of February.
There you go.
I don't think it was January.
You're welcome.
There's Super Bowl around then too.
I think it's usually further towards the end of February. That's
See,
crazy.
again, I thought that was January as well.
Super Bowl?
Maybe just January just like dissolves into
No,
nothing.
because the regular season ends at the end of December. Because there's like week 16 is around like they play games on Christmas Day.
Oh yeah, of course they do. That's mental, isn't it?
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty good actually.
You just don't have to talk to your family.
No, no. It's just you don't expect any sport to be on Christmas Day, and it's like I like to watch The Snowman and then lead it into a bit of American
You watch
football.
The Snowman on Christmas?
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I think I did last Christmas. No,
I can't stand that film.
It's not Alyd Jones, is it?
How long is The Snowman?
no,
45 minutes?
something. Like, yeah,
no,
it's not.
it's shorter than that.
Yeah,
Is it shorter than
Maybe
that?
half an hour, yeah.
or a bit shorter.
Oh, is it just that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not Alyd Jones. That's a misconception.
What?
So the song in The Snowman is by some I can't remember the guy's name. He's like a Welsh choir boy.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, Alyd Jones released it as a single that got to number 1, I think.
Oh.
Actually, also separate piece of trivia. I think that I saw some documentary on Alyd Jones a while back, and he was walking.
Why do you know so much about Alyd Jones?
I just happened to see this documentary about what his life's been like since he did The Snowman, and there's a bit where he's walking down the street, not in the air. And
spat that out everywhere.
some bloke. Oh no! Or is he playing like a gig somewhere and he's trying to be taken like as a serious singer? And some bloke in the crowd's just going Snowman, and he's devastated. I'll try and dig up the Alyd Jones documentary for anyone interested.
Any more news?
That's my news. Sorry.
So this week's topic, we're just going to do some TV recommendations.
Yeah.
A few movie ones, if you think of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a few decent movies recently.
We've all had a bit of a TV binge recently.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we're not going to recommend stuff like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like the obvious, yeah. It sort of shows that you feel like might have slipped under people's radar. Or some stuff like that would be
or
kind of a, do I watch it?
Getting round to watching or something like that.
Yeah, I need that like push.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
what have you got? I've only got one.
Shall I start then?
Yeah, you go.
I, in the last 24 hours, have watched 8 one-hour episodes of The Boyz on Amazon Prime. It's phenomenal.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's based on a comic property,
yeah,
right?
So it's based on a comic. I was reading a bit earlier, like they kind of deviate a little bit in certain characters that are less important in the program, but more important in the comic. So yeah, there's one superhero called Black Noir that doesn't really do much in the program, but is quite prominent in the comic.
Okay.
But it's the same general premise, being that there's superheroes being born in the United States. There's like 200, I think, but only in the United States. And the whole like thing is, they've been selected by God to be superheroes.
Okay.
And it's, so there's 200, but there's a group of 7 that are owned by this corporation. So they're called the 7. There's always 7 of them. So if some person retires, a new one will come in, and they're like superheroes for hire, almost.
Okay.
They've got their own PR teams. They've got their own scripts to do and stuff, but they're actual douchebags.
Okay.
Like they're horrible, like sometimes evil people.
Right.
But the whole world thinks they're like amazing and stuff. And it's a look into how that is working as a business, as as like there's another, like the main story going on is actually a bunch of guys that are trying to basically expose them and get revenge on them, because it's not really a spoiler because it happens at the start of the very first episode, whereby the speedster in the group,
aka the Flash, aka copyright reasons.
Yeah.
It's called A-Train.
It's called A-Train.
Okay.
Also, my nickname at football.
Is just running and just runs straight through the protagonist's girlfriend, and she just explodes.
Wow.
It's very like graphic as well. Like it does that whole piece in slow-mo, and you see like bits of brain and blood everywhere. And so he's a normal human. He's trying to like get revenge, and so he meets other people that have had similar experiences.
Okay.
And they're basically trying to take them down. It's so good. It's so gripping. Like,
is it gripping like in the drama of that storyline, or in the action, or in both?
Both, I'd
Okay.
say. Also, it's probably one of the best cast TV shows I've seen in a long time.
Who's in it?
Carl Urban's in it from Thor Ragnarok and
Judge
from
Dredd.
Judge Dredd, Lord of the Rings. The only problem with him is that he's a Kiwi and he's trying to put on an English accent, and it doesn't quite work.
It is a terrible accent.
Is it?
It is really bad.
But it has got some bits of comedy in this, like when he's talking about the Spice Girls and stuff.
That was good.
It was really funny.
Yeah.
But the best casting is a guy called Anthony Starr.
Right.
I don't know if you know him. No. He basically plays the equivalent of Superman.
Okay.
But
he's so creepy.
It's really like
interesting.
Concerning, like, and you see his character on like camera and off camera, and it's just it's really, really creepy. So there's a few different stories going on at the same time. So there's like a new superhero that's just joined the 7.
Yeah.
It's like a country girl with dreams of being. She's called Starlight.
Okay.
And she's actually a really good person. Then there's like the group that are trying to take them down, which are just full of humans. There's like the guy that had his girlfriend ran through, and then there's Carl Urban, who plays Billy Butcher, who's got previous with Homelander, who's the Superman.
Okay.
And then there's a guy called Frenchie, who's just this French guy who's
Right.
is really, really cool.
That's his superpower.
And
He's just a French guy.
There's a guy that is called Mother's Milk, and it's not quite said if it's his real name or if it's like just a nickname. And they get this soup, as they call him, superhero, on their team as well.
Right.
Who's this like mute Asian woman?
Okay.
Has like the powers of Wolverine.
Yeah, she's basically Wolverine.
Okay.
But without the claws, she just like will just gouge you. But she's also got healing.
It's not one of those shows where, like in The Walking Dead, they won't call a zombie. They won't say superhero.
Well, they'll say superhero, but everyone calls them
soup.
soup.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's really entertaining, really like dramatic, but it's also got like really good parts of comedy. Like, so there's a character called The Deep who is basically Aquaman,
Okay.
but
Amazing.
he's just like,
For anyone who's seen Gossip Girl, he's Nate in Gossip Girl.
yeah,
Okay.
Chase Crawford. And he's the first time you're introduced to him, he's quite evil. Like, he sexually assaults the new girl.
Yeah, he gets.
Jeez.
Yeah, he gets.
But
her
then
to suck
like
him off.
he basically like he's what everyone considers Aquaman to be, like in the comics. Like,
kind of lame.
everyone's just like, oh, you're just fish boy.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah.
The bit with the dolphin though.
Yeah, so like
That was so funny.
like it's not a spoiler, it's just but he basically goes, because they get given their missions by this corporation,
Right.
and he's like, oh, I've got a great idea for a new mission for me. Like, I'm gonna take down Aqua World, which is Sea World.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can't do that, you're the face of Aqua World. And he's like, oh damn it. So he goes in there at night and steals a dolphin that he can talk to, but you don't hear the dolphin side of the conversation. And they're like driving in a van, and the dolphin's like on a sling in the back.
Yeah.
And then police cars like go in front of him, and he slams on the brakes, and the dolphin just shoots out the window and across the road, where it gets like taken out by a truck.
Oh man,
But it's got some real dark humor in it.
that
It's
sounds
just
really good.
really well shot, and
it's really graphic.
yeah.
Yeah.
The dialogue's really good. The characters are great. Yeah, give it a watch.
Cool.
It's currently
I want to give an honourable mention to who's the main guy, the guy at the start, the protagonist.
the actor
Yeah,
Jack Quaid.
because I'd never seen him in anything before, and I think he is phenomenal in this.
Really?
Really good. Really good. Kind of like, I know we were talking about Breaking Bad a couple of weeks ago. Kind of similar in that he's just this innocent kid who gets thrust into all this.
Yeah.
And then he kind of admits that he likes like his descent into you know,
Kind of-
harming these people.
It's kind of similar to Breaking Bad in a sense. If you look at like,
He just said that.
oh sorry, did you?
Yeah.
I completely missed that.
Yeah,
mate.
he basically learns to, like, I mean, he's thrust into attacking the soups or
Yeah.
like finding a way to bring them down. But at points when he inflicts harm on them, he admits that he enjoys it, and he's telling the other characters, and they're all a bit like, okay,
Yeah.
weird guy.
If there's any
Sounds good.
Hunger Games fans out there, he played Marvel in Hunger Games, apparently.
There is no Hunger Games fans.
Not in here,
I've
anyway.
No,
No,
definitely
I've
not.
seen it. I just can't. I don't
No.
care. I didn't care.
I saw the first one. I mean, there's Cake Paint Boy.
Peter. Peter.
But yeah, so in this you've got a character called Homelander who's basically Superman. You've got Wonder Woman. You've got the Flash.
Okay.
You've got all the
So
main
it's
ones.
like Justice League, mostly inspired. Yeah.
yeah. Black Noir's kind of the Batman, I suppose. Of the
Yeah, actually, yeah. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool.
yeah no
That
yeah.
sounds good. How many episodes?
So there's 8 1-hour episodes, and
You've
every-
watched them all.
I've watched them all in 24
How
hours.
far are you?
Well, I was kind of tuning in and out because
Okay.
Joe was watching them in the living room, but I was kind of preoccupied with other things.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, no, give it a watch. It's it's on Amazon Prime. People thought it was going to be like a self-contained miniseries, and so I got to like the last episode, and then I was like, how the hell are they going to wrap this up? And it got to like 10 minutes before, and I was like, there's got to be a season 2. Then it finishes on a cliffhanger, so you're
Okay.
like, oh, okay, yeah, there's definitely going to be a series 2. And just one more point on this is how good the marketing was behind it. I think I tell you about this as well. So I cycle from here up to uni in Holloway,
Yeah.
and just at the top of Shoreditch, there's a whole wall that's had the advertising like graffitied onto it.
Oh, cool.
Because you'll probably recognise the image.
The graphics, the graphic design for this has been really good.
This one of like the main superhero with lasers coming out of his eyes.
Yeah, I think I have actually.
Yeah. No, really good.
Do you remember the New Zealand competition for a new flag?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember the kiwi bird with laser beam eyes?
Yes, yeah.
That got my vote. It was so good.
That was good.
What's your do you have a TV recommendation?
No.
No.
I mean, in all honesty, I've not been watching a huge amount of TV recently. I've not really had time.
What about what we've just started watching again?
What's that?
Mindhunter.
Yeah, I don't know where I stand on that though. I think the first season was just so good, and I've spoken to a lot of people about it in terms of I haven't seen the entire second season yet. I'm like 4 or 5 episodes in, but so for me it's just not as good. And I don't know if it's because it's more of a character examination this season, and Holden is far less likable.
Mindhunter is about, for anyone that's not seen it, because I don't think I've seen it, it's about FBI profiling and catching serial killers. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's what they call the Behavioral Science Unit,
right? Which
was founded, and all these terms like serial killer didn't exist back then. Yeah. It was this unit that put all of that together and started building profiles on what to expect murderers to do, and basically with a view to preventing or cutting the murdering sprees of serial killers short.
Okay.
And I think the reason people like it is because they go and they interview kind of famous serial killers from history, who are portrayed in the show as those people. I think the characters are fictional, but the murderers are factual.
But then
I'm with you.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the hook for everyone I've spoken to about it. Is like, I went up and looked all this stuff about.
Well, that's it. I mean, we're
the Mansons and
we're very into this whole serial killer history.
Yeah.
But this makes it a bit more accessible than watching, say, a 2-hour documentary on a serial killer, because it's dramatized.
Do you know what I find more interesting is and this, I don't know if it answers this in the show, but there's this period in American history, and it's from the 40s, no, I'd say 50s to mid to late 70s, when all these serial killers are just cropping up. Yeah. And it just seems to be I mean, obviously, I guess there is records everywhere, but it seems I don't know if it's they got notoriety in those decades or whatever, but USA, these white males just going for it. That was the time, and I want to know what happened in society that brought that about. That interests me quite a lot.
I mean, before Mindhunter came out, I kind of I was on my way to a meeting in Hamburg, and I randomly I needed some reading material because I didn't have any books with me, and I just saw conversations with serial killers, which is really not something I'd ordinarily pick up. No. But I was like, okay, fine, I'll give it a read. Really interesting. Okay. Really, really interesting. And so many of these people have obviously lifestyle factors, so either abusive parents or siblings, or basically just non-existent childhoods. They had to grow up far too early, and they're enacting it on the rest of society. Yeah. And they'll all have some kind of quirk. There's a guy who would stuff grass in his victims' mouths and eyes and ears for some reason. And then there's what you'd be interested in, Joe, is there's a load of science behind it too. So when they when some of them have passed away, or even before that, when they kind of do a medical on them, lots of these people have heightened levels of certain hormones in their system or in their brain.
Oh, right.
So one of the guys is a serial masturbator, and he's I can't remember his name, but he's in jail now still. I think he's on death row, and he had to be given medication on death row because otherwise he would just constantly masturbate in his cell.
Weird.
But once they started giving him the medication, he admitted that a lot of his killing urges would subside as well. and there were a lot of female guards on death row that would always be complaining about him. When they started medicating him, he was far more eloquent and kind of conversational and less abrasive towards all police staff. So
there's definitely a societal and biological reason for this. Like there's a few different syndromes. Like there's one I think called Jacob's syndrome. There's a chromosomal disorder, and there's another one where you can have XYY syndrome.
Okay.
So obviously a lot of the genes that project like masculinity and stuff reside within the Y chromosome, and you can have two of them within a quite like without causing a fatality in the baby. And so they will then grow up with an increased, say, testosterone level that will lead to a higher chance of committing crimes and stuff like that. And I think that I read somewhere they did like a couple of cases of serial killers. They did like a post-mortem and found a massive tumor in the brain and stuff. Where like it could be something as basic as that, or a chemical imbalance like from a like drug episode that will never get back to equilibrium, and you just go on a like crazy rampage. Yeah. So it's really, well, I really liked Mindhunter Series 1. Like you said, we're about halfway through Season 2. I have heard from people, because I thought Season 2 started off quite slowly.
Yeah.
But then I've heard that after like episode 4 or 5, it really starts like ramping up. So maybe we need to get on that.
I think what they've missed, maybe
like the whole
maybe
stuff
it will
with
pick up.
Ford's kid has just started.
Well, that's
Getting
kind of where I feel this season hasn't excelled yet, is that Ford was so relatable in the first season. Like he's young and he wants to.
Oh wait, yeah, I meant Trench, not Ford, by the way.
Tench,
sorry.
Ford is like so young and like so eager to put himself in the killer's mindset to, for pure purposes, but also out of his own kind of inquisitive nature. But like the start of this season, he's kind of just become a bit of a douchebag, and he's not really as relatable.
Yeah, we haven't had that many interviews yet this season where we're up to, and those were always the most interesting parts of the TV program, where he literally sits down with the serial killer and they have like a conversation.
Yeah.
In fact, the guy that played Ed Kemper actually won an Emmy, I want to say, or a Golden Globe for Best Reoccurring Actor.
Wow.
Because he was phenomenal.
Yeah. So that person's playing like the whole Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. He was only in 3 or 4 episodes, but his performance is harrowing, isn't it? Like in that final episode of season 1.
That was so well acted.
It's incredible.
He writes a letter to Ford, who then goes and sees him in hospital because he's tried to kill himself. And he's like, "Oh, we're friends, aren't we?" And obviously he's shackled to the bed, but then he kind of corners him. Like he gets up without him expecting, and he kind of just like stands over him.
And he's a massive guy. He's like 6'5",
wow.
300 pounds.
And then he just ends up hugging him. And then Ford like runs out of the room and has like a huge panic attack.
Because he says like, I could like basically crush you now, didn't it? Like
and then he kind of, it's like a realization on Ford's part that he, like, by putting himself in these people's mindset, you lose that sense of self a little bit,
right? Okay.
And you indulge you can indulge too far into their thoughts, and it's dangerous. So the panic attacks become like a recurring thing for him.
Wow.
Yeah,
pretty good.
What's yours?
Spoilers. I should have said at the start. Spoilers for all.
Well, we didn't talk about season 2, so I mean,
and we've only seen half of it, so we can't spoil the entire thing.
Mine is, so all summer a friend of mine has been saying, watch Attack on Titan.
Yes. Bring it forward, Andrew.
Are you a fan?
Oh,
he's watched all of it.
Okay.
Oh, man.
No spoilers on this because I've not finished season 1. So a friend of mine, I'm not joking, like all summer he's like, watch this. Have you watched this? I was like, no. I've actually been like sick, on and off for the past few weeks. So I got to a night where I was like, what shall I watch? Like we didn't have anything lined up for us to do this show. So I was like, okay, I'll try an episode. Incredible. So it is like, it does have all the great stereotypes of anime, like a ridiculous soundtrack. Everyone is like screaming in a monologue. But the storytelling is amazing and it's so deep, and Like there's this huge lore behind it.
I know what it's about, and I've seen the first 2 or 3 episodes, but I didn't get much further.
So it's set. It's like post-apocalyptic, but you kind of don't know if it's like in our world or not. But I think it is. I'm not as far ahead, but so these things called Titans, which are like giant, slightly overweight naked people, have appeared. It's really funny because they're like and so what's left of mankind is like just lives behind these walls. There's like 3 levels to the wall, which I think is like, so the deepest in is like the rich section.
Yeah, it's like an allegory for
royalty, basically.
Yeah, and there's lots of that like running through it, and so then this kid Aaron just wants to fight them and kill them. I can't really go much.
What are the people called that fight and kill the Titans?
The Survey Corps.
That's
Survey Corps. And how do they kill them?
Shot the back of the neck.
Because they like swing from trees, don't they?
Yeah, they have these like equipment. It's like grappling hooks on their hips.
That's the most creative part of it.
Yeah, cool. I was gonna say like.
What's really cool is like when they cut where I guess an ad break would be, they give you like schematics and blueprints of the tech in the show.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really cool. So, and they'll give you like history, and it'll be like from the archive of this. There's some really.
I like that.
It's so well thought out. I'm really enjoying it.
It's really good.
How far are they now? Like where's the anime and where's the TV show?
I think the anime and the manga.
The
manga.
I do the same. I get shouted.
The manga is at chapter 121. And the anime is, I think it's like it's halfway through season 3.
Yeah.
And it's so like in relation to the manga, I think that's like chapter 50 something.
Yeah, I heard that they're only going to do one more series of the anime.
Really?
They're going to finish after 4, is what I heard.
Oh, that'll be difficult to cram in, but.
So they won't ever get to where the manga is?
I generally don't know. I'm quite new to this.
Is
it doing the same kind of thing as Walking Dead? And so it started very similar, and it's kind of
no,
it sticks
it's exactly the same.
Oh, it's exactly the same.
Yeah. But obviously, I mean, the anime is interesting. I mean, if you're a manga reader, it's like nothing changes. Some of the scenes are like still the same.
Oh, really?
Which is why I kind of ruined it for myself, because I watched season 1 of the anime and then I just read all the manga. So whenever I see a new episode, I'm like,
I was wondering about like what way I should do it. Should I? So this friend of mine, he's watched it all, and then he's going back. I don't know. I'm not saying.
Well, I suppose it depends on what medium you prefer, because if it's so similar, then you don't need to do both. Really.
If you want the shock value, then I would definitely just watch the anime.
Okay. It is like it does get really tense without even knowing. Like
I can't believe they would only do one more season of the anime though. There's so much to cover.
They must take an absolute like really long time to make.
Yeah, they took a break in between. There a really long break between season 1 and 2 of the anime. But if anything, that just let the manga get out ahead. So they've got loads and loads of material.
Because I actually asked my friend Sammy today. I was like, so when I finish season 1, because I've got like 2 more episodes or something. When I finish season 1, where am I in the manga? And he's like, oh, like volume 12. I was like, is that it? Bearing in mind season 1's 25 episodes, it's like 20 to 30 minutes an episode.
For some reason, you always think you're going quicker in a TV show than you would in the comics, but they just kind of like build it out a little bit with people like walking in between scenes rather than it just cutting to the next slide.
Season 1 very much focuses on like one villain as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Or I mean, you don't have to perceive them as a villain, but like in the traditional sense, they are.
That's what I can see coming. I think everything's going to be quite like ambiguous, because I think the whole like allegory of like rich and poor and the society divide in it, I think that's going to come into play, and like who is right in this, because I think there's like some weird experimentation, and I'm sure like there's going to be like conspiracies left, right. This is me just guessing.
Where have you got to?
The last episode I watched, you just discovered who the female Titan was. Yeah. I kind of guessed that. I could see it coming because it's the only one that's
exactly
not with
the same.
them. Yeah, and that too. Yeah.
Where is it up to?
I don't know if I can say without.
No. As in how many seasons is there?
Oh, there's 3 seasons.
Yeah, there's 3. So that's halfway through.
And are you waiting for season 4 to drop now? Are you?
No, I think it's halfway through. Like we're waiting for the second half of season 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when do they find out who that is? So you're quite a way through season 1.
Yeah, I'm on like out of 25, I'm on like 21 or 22. I think.
Okay, so
yeah.
you've seen quite a bit.
Yeah, I did hammer it. It's so good.
How long are the episodes? Like 20 minutes?
Yeah, 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it's got the best female hero,
Yeah.
or like heroine. She's so fucking cool.
I think on that, like Japanese and Korean cinema and cartoon is really good at doing like strong female stuff. They also do, I mean, not to like broad strokes, but sometimes you get some really weird stuff with females. But for like the most part, in all these like kind of like actiony ones, there's always a solid, like heroine, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, she's called Mikasa.
Yeah,
And
which
she's,
is
like, basically, the gear you were talking about, the grappling stuff. She's so much faster and better than anyone else. Like, it's not even close, apart from Levi. But
yeah.
Levi jeans.
No, Captain Levi.
It's one of those things I'm excited to finish it so I can go on Reddit and just read insane theories.
Yeah.
Don't ruin it for yourself on Reddit.
No. I'll watch it all before I get there. You had another recommendation, did you?
I got one more. It's a program that's been out for quite a while now, but it's one of those ones that when I talk to people about it, they're always like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that," or "Oh yeah, I've heard good things," but I haven't met anyone that's seen it.
Okay.
It's called The Man in the High Castle.
This?
I've heard good things about that.
I'm that guy. Is this the thing about? I mean, maybe you can explain it. Is this thing where it's like a what if the Germans have won?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
So it's based on a novel of the same name, and it's the reason I also mention it is because season 3 finished a few months ago, and season 4 starts in next month.
Cool.
Oh no, sorry, in November.
Right.
So it's quite topical as well.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, it's basically a what if. It's an alternate timeline of World War II went differently.
Yeah.
The Japanese and the Nazis won, and the Nazis took over all of Europe and invaded the States, and the Japanese took over all of Asia and then also invaded the States, but from the West Coast. So you've then got...
Or did they? Flat Earth.
You do this.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
So what you get then is you get the Nazis and the Japanese working together, and they own half of the states each. There's the East Coast, which is run by the Nazis, the West Coast run by the Japanese, with like a no man's land in the middle. And so you've got the original Americans that were there that are now like not enslaved, but like under control of those two. Like, so you have like an uprising storyline going on where like people don't like this and they want to have it get it back to normality. But you also have like the political tensions between the Japanese and the Nazis, because essentially like Japanese aren't Aryan. They were working together during the Second World War, but they're not allies.
No.
And so you've got like a really interesting fight between them two. And also like you follow a bunch of rebels essentially that are trying to play both societies off against each other.
Okay.
I won't spoil it too much, but there is a large sci-fi element that comes in at the end of the first season and carries through for the rest of the seasons that you really don't see coming. And the thing that really got me about it that like was, again, same as the Boyz, it was the performances. So
funny you should say this. The guy I know that watches this, that I've heard about this from, he said the acting's really bad. I mean,
you've seen a couple of episodes, haven't you? Rufus
Sewell, who is Count Adhemar in A Knight's Tale,
or he's also in The Holiday, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Isn't he the douchebag boyfriend
of what's that name?
Cameron Diaz?
No.
Oh, Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He's fantastic. So he's basically like high up Nazi.
Yep.
He was born in the States, but he's like risen quite high.
Mm-hmm.
And then
he does a lot of theatre work, I think. Rufus Sewell. He's quite well regarded.
Is that how you say his name, by the way?
Sewell.
I was going to
Sewell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also got DJ Qualls.
I was going to say DJ Khaled.
Who you might not know. Do you know the name? You might not know the name. You'll definitely know the face because he might be the ugliest actor in Hollywood at the moment.
Wow.
It's that guy.
Oh, it's that guy from. He was in Road Trip.
Yeah.
As the scrawny guy that dances.
He plays the scrawny guy in everything he's in.
Yeah, and he's in an episode of Breaking Bad. He's the guy that catches Badger in the second series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so he is.
He's not the ugliest guy in Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean,
Who do you reckon gets that?
I don't know. I'm not in like such a apocalyptic mood today. I'm not just gonna.
Yeah, it hasn't got well-known actors in it, but I think the whole cast worked together quite well. And the premise is really interesting.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, give it a watch. I've finished series 3, and so I'm just waiting for series 4 to come out.
Nice.
I think it's about 81% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I've got a question for you guys.
Go on.
Before we finish
On what?
this.
80% on what platform?
On what? On who?
That works out as about a 4.2 out of 6, I think.
That would be funny if Rotten Tomatoes had the self-awareness to censor the rating for something about the Nazis.
Yeah, that's true.
So
It's also that. By the way, if anyone wants to watch that, that's also on Amazon.
is it?
So.
Oh yeah, I
Boyz,
should say.
Yeah, I was going to say, where do you watch Attack on Titan?
The first season's on Netflix. 2 and 3, I don't know. I think you need
So
some
how
kind
did
of...
you? Oh, you haven't
I'm
watched
not there yet.
Is it
So
called
there's
is it called
some
Crispy Roll or whatever it's called?
really. I think there's some kind of like
Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll.
anime
Crunchyroll.
streaming service that
You
it's-
can
it's
download
on.
Crunchyroll on like PlayStation and stuff, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll see. We'll see how I do 2 or 3.
Love Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
And Patrick Melrose with Benedict Cumberbatch, which was a Sky Atlantic drama. And also has Hugh...
Jackman, mate.
Not Hugh Jackman.
Laurie?
The guy, Red Skull in...
Oh,
Hugo Weaving.
wait.
Hugo Weaving.
Oh, okay. Original Red Skull or new Red Skull?
Original
Come
Red Skull.
on.
Original
Or
Formula
new
Red Skull.
Red Skull.
No one
is an
knows who that is.
Well, no, it's an actor in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, fine.
So it's got him playing Benedict Cumberbatch's dad in the drama. And yeah, I would thoroughly recommend that if anyone has.
Oh yeah, my question for you guys is, do you think TV content we're getting now is better written, more original than movie content?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
It's such a wide-reaching question, though.
There's yeah. I mean, we touched on this last week. Like, The Irishman would work so much better as a TV show than it would a film. I just think you can do more with, like, there's so much more world building and stuff like that, and I become just a lot more invested. I love a 2-hour film,
Yeah.
but I find myself definitely getting more invested in TV shows than I would a film.
I think that's what's going to be so interesting about the Breaking Bad film.
Yeah.
Is that Vince Gilligan was such a good writer of a TV show. Can he carry that into a film and pace it properly and develop the characters to the point that audiences want? Because, the endemic issue in Hollywood right now is that everyone is just making sequels or rebooting retro films, which no one wants to see. And we've mentioned that a number of times in the past. Whereas TV is
I mean, all the good writers have gone to TV.
Yeah, and it's churning out such authentic and original ideas at the moment. Yeah. I mean, you look at the likes of, we haven't mentioned it, but Killing Eve. I thought The Bodyguard, even though it could have been like construed as quite close to something like Spooks, actually did really well to shake off any of its predecessors and stand out and actually launch Richard Madden into the Hollywood stratosphere. Line of Duty was
like, those
was
are
good.
just 3 British ones, let alone like American dramas that we're talking about as well.
And I think The Boyz was what impressed me so much about the way they told that story was the ideas there. So the idea is that superheroes are this kind of corporate entity.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they you've had kind of variations of it in the past with like films like Hancock.
It could have come across very lazy.
They could have really messed it up.
Yeah, but they didn't. They've done a really good job with it. Like, if it was so on the nose, like, ooh, this is this is corporations running the world. And be
Man,
like, okay, we
okay,
get it.
yeah.
But they didn't do that.
Okay.
What really ties it together is I forgot the actor's name. His performance, the protagonist's performance, and we say protagonist, but I mean,
again, it's morally grey.
Yeah, it's a blurred line.
Yeah, I guess TV's got that room to make people more dynamic. You know, say like a Walter White. I know we keep going back to Breaking Bad, but it's great.
I mean, it was probably 6 or 7 years ago that everyone was like, we are in the golden age of television right now.
But I think it's still going, isn't it?
I started to think that we are coming to the end of it, but things I've seen popping up recently, I've been really impressed with.
Yeah.
Especially, my favourite medium is limited series, I think, where you just get, they say, right, we're doing one season. So like True Detective.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, we're doing one season. So it's basically like a long film.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to keep going and leave it on a cliffhanger. They're just going to, they know the story they want to tell, but they don't want to do it in 2 hours.
Yeah.
They want to do it over 8 hours, which you can't make a film that's 8 hours long.
Fargo's really good for that, the series.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
And
really,
you don't
really
even
good.
like, what's his name? Martin Freeman.
I just think he's in too much.
Talking about, who was saying Simon Pegg earlier?
I was.
Yeah, he's in The Boys. As
Oh,
well.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the protagonist's dad, isn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah, he has a really weird American accent. Actually, he does pretty well, actually, with that American
Does he?
accent.
Well, I mean, I think everyone can picture him as their dad for some reason. So that's quite well cast.
Another good contained series is Catch-22. You read the book?
My sister's ex-boyfriend's in it.
Really?
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Who does he play?
I don't know.
No, we didn't watch it, but
Oh,
I
He
okay.
couldn't pay me to give a fuck.
It looks quite good though. It's got George Clooney in it. Briefly.
He directed it, I think.
Yeah,
he directed as
he's
well?
like a recurring role. There's only 6 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think-
is that stopping?
Yeah.
Just
'Cause
limits
it's a novel.
I think
And-
he
Right.
dies in the 5th episode. He's in it very briefly.
Okay.
That's what my parents said.
Right. It's really, I mean, it's worth watching. If you like the novel and you like that kind of humor, that dark humor, it's kind of, like, similar to Fargo, that sort of humor and that roundabout way they talk to each other.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that, like you were saying with the Boys, it's like you could easily do that very wrong and just be like, oh, we just took the title and the war or whatever. Yeah.
Also, they could have made The Boys a film,
Yeah.
but they didn't. They made it a season, and that's why I think it's.
Also, I'm a big believer in that all the best series are finite.
Yeah.
Or actively finite.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know where you want to end them before you even start filming.
Yeah, and it loops back to the whole Tarantino only making 10 films or 9 films as he's now claiming he's going to. But it's like you leave people wanting more, but in the right way.
No one wants to see another Lost. Let's
Well,
put it that
exactly.
way. Like, I was the biggest Lost fanboy.
Were you?
Yeah, big time.
I don't know if you ever saw a series called Flash Forward.
Is that the one where everyone lost 8 minutes?
Yeah.
I didn't see
Ooh.
it, but it had Charlie from Lost in it, didn't it?
I can't remember. It had Joseph Fiennes of Shakespeare in Love.
Anything to do
In
with
the
Ray
main role.
Fiennes?
They're brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, no way. There we go.
Charlie from Lost plays one of the hobbits in Lord of the Rings. Can't remember which one it was.
Merry.
Pippin.
Pippin.
Yeah. I think he's in Flash Forward.
He is. I think
Billy
you're right.
Boyd.
Yeah. But that got cancelled, didn't it?
It got cancelled after 1 season, and I think it's such a shame because the first 5 episodes are absolutely amazing.
Oh, mate. I've watched so many great first seasons of TV, and then it's like Heroes. How fucking good was Heroes the
Yeah, I
first
remember
season?
everyone going nuts.
There's one called well, it's still going actually. The 100.
Oh god.
There was another one that was similar to the 100. It's called like the 400 or something.
But yeah, if you, I'd be really interested to know what people think of Flash Forward. I think it came out like 10 years ago now. But just watch 1 or 2 episodes, and I promise you'll be absolutely hooked. I think it goes on for 22, 23 episodes, and it ends really abruptly. And the storyline meanders so badly for the remainder of the first season, the only season. it gets to a point where they work out why everyone lost 8 minutes, and there's some it's like, I think it's a kid writes some massive mathematical formula on a mirror in lipstick or something. It's really bad.
Yeah, I remember when it first came out and thinking that seems like a really good premise. Oh, it's on the Sci-Fi Channel.
But yeah, what that did so well. So at the end of the first episode, everyone loses those 8 minutes. Everyone blacks out.
Yeah,
everyone blacks out. So you've got like planes falling out of the sky. Like the world goes into massive turmoil, and I think it's the CIA or whoever this investigative unit is that Joseph Fiennes is part of. They are like monitoring footage of the 8 minutes, like CCTV cameras capturing what was going on in those 8 minutes. And there's one of a baseball stadium, I think in California, and everyone just like drops back in their seats, and then they see someone just walking, one person walking, and they're like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And I think that's the end of the first episode, and it's like you get proper chills.
Yeah, I always got goosebumps.
That's so sinister.
Can we get a good director and writing team to remake this?
It's worth a shot.
We should do an episode on great premises that have been completely butchered.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's a great...
Because I've got so many.
Have you? Awesome.
I think it's an absolute tragedy that they didn't do better with this, because it was really well written in the early stages.
I got a similar one that I watched like the first season and a half, and it just stopped, and it's called the 4400, that basically like people just disappeared and then they reappeared 20 years later, but the same age that they were. That was really good as well for the first season, but then just again
they're currently
but then again the writers were like, oh, we don't know how to fix this, and like this is what's so good about like finite limited series, is they have the end already designed. And again, that's kind of probably what happened with Lord of the Rings. They had an end, they knew what it was, but they didn't have George's help after series 4. So they had to get there by themselves. And
Wait, what?
What?
What TV show?
Game of Thrones.
Oh.
What did I say?
You said Lord of the Rings. I was like,
oh, sorry. Yeah, I meant Game of Thrones. Writers for TV are hit and miss, I suppose, aren't they? Like,
I think there's some kind of formula or theory where the longer a show goes on, the more likely it is to fuck up, basically.
Yeah, I think so.
Where I feel like all Hollywood writers and all TV show writers will reach the predictable conclusion eventually in their career.
They'll get greedy and keep going.
But the network will keep throwing money at them to do series after series.
Yeah.
But it's only... I think you can only go so long being that, like, I don't know, burning that bright and being that creative.
I think this is a whole episode.
Yeah,
in itself,
yeah, we should save that.
The problems with TV these days.
We'll do that. I was just going to say, just to lastly touch on that, it's like a musician with an album. You know, there's, if your career is 20 years, how many good ones do you do? Like 4, 5, like real solid ones? Yeah. Or like when do you start like slipping and...
Yeah. I think there's a quote from... I think I've spoken about this poet before, Tom Gunn. Yeah. And he did his last book of poetry and what?
Just thinking Tommy Gunn from Rocky 5.
Yo, Tommy Gunn.
That
knock him down. Why don't you try knocking me down now?
And I think he eventually died of complications from AIDS, but he so he's gay British-born American poet.
Yeah. And
he wrote his last collection called Boss Cupid in 2000. And after he finished it, he said, "I'm out of juice." Like he just refused to write another collection because he just didn't think it would do his other work justice.
Essentially, what Tarantino said as well. Yeah. Once you've got no creative ideas, then don't bother.
Yeah.
Which I completely agree with.
Yeah, I really like that purist attitude.
Yeah, just fucking ride into the sunset.
Yeah.
Like make what you want to make, and then just leave. Yeah. Like.
There's so many good like old punk bands that have done like 2 or 3 albums,
and think how many like directors or actors that we're like, oh, just give up.
Guns N' Roses? We think they've only got one good album.
I would say 1.5. Yeah, but one really good one. Yeah. Next week, You are away, Joe.
I'm not here, but I really look forward to listening to a podcast.
What are we going to do? Do you know what's coming out? I can tell you what's in the cinema this weekend.
Go on.
The Downton Abbey movie.
Downtown Abbey.
Yeah.
Downtown!
They made that into a movie.
Yeah.
It's one of the ones that we should have mentioned last week, where it's a series made into a movie.
Yeah. Was
What's
that
it-
last week or the week before?
No, week before, sorry.
What's it called?
Downton Abbey, the movie? I don't know.
The Queen comes to visit.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that the premise?
That's the premise, yeah.
I've never seen this show.
What's her name? A really famous actress is playing the Queen. I can't remember her name, though.
Is it?
Just based on Arle's reaction alone, I want to go watch it with you.
Is it the Queen? I've never liked Downton Abbey. It's just one of those
I've never seen it.
ball-achingly dull TV shows.
Americans love it, though, don't they?
Really?
Because it gives them such an unrealistic view into what they think we're like. So, like, having just had our American colleagues over for the week, ask any of them to do a UK accent, and it is just the most appalling thing.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Yeah, but that's it. To the point where I start doing that to like trivialise how bad their attempt at my accent is.
Yeah.
Like, oh, all right, pet, all right, love. Oh, am I going up the apples and pears? Am I? Yeah. Yeah, it's just so bad.
Well, if we're not going to review that, we should probably review a film.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, let's do that, but not Downton Abbey.
Okay.
What else is in the cinema this week?
Oof.
Well, you could watch it.
We can watch it.
You could watch Once Upon a Time.
I haven't seen Once Upon a Time.
Oh, we could do that.
We are pretty late on the whole.
Yeah, we missed the boat on that one.
Angel Has Fallen.
Ooh, we could.
I kind of want to see that.
we could do it. I'm game.
I'm bang up for Angels
Okay,
Fallen.
yeah, maybe we'll do that.
Oh, don't watch Angel Has Fallen without me. Maybe that'll be like the film on the plane to Korea.
Oh, it'll be
Ooh,
on
yeah.
there. Yeah, definitely.
I
Get
reckon
in.
the back catalogue will be.
Yeah,
up
but
to
it'll be.
Fallen's.
It's all PG-13.
What?
On planes,
Why?
you can't have any violence.
What?
You sure?
Have you not known this?
No.
You can't have like scenes of It's
Well,
everything-
I've watched Avengers on a plane before.
Yeah, I've watched Hunger Games, and they just cut out all of the kills, basically.
Oh, I never realised this.
Oh.
Did you not?
No. That's
Yeah.
really annoying. Because I always wondered whether they could show the film Flight on a flight
Is that with Denzel Washington?
Yeah.
Or snakes on a plane?
that opens with a plane crash.
No, I don't think you're allowed.
Yeah, well, it'd be
Yeah.
a fucking terrible idea, wouldn't it?
But I swear I saw the movie about the third plane at the 9/11 attacks. Was it United 89? No?
Yeah.
I swear I've seen that on a plane.
United.
Something.
Anyway, can't remember.
Yeah, United a number.
But yeah, so Joe's going to Korea for a week and a half. I'm going to Japan at the end of November.
Oh, yeah.
So
Where are you going?
No. So I was going to say, like, how many films can we watch between us in the like near 24-hour flight time that will be?
Oh yeah.
Well, I can't sleep on planes anyway, so I
Yeah,
will
neither.
literally be watching film after film. In fact,
Do a review.
one time, imagine that. Final thing,
Yes.
Shia LaBeouf's new film comes out soon.
Shia LaBoef.
And he's also
LaBeouf.
just had a film come out.
Wait, he isn't dead.
I've heard about this. Isn't he playing his dad?
So that's the new one that's coming out. That's going to be like pretty brutal, I would think.
Hasn't he done like art or like I don't know, like art poetry where he's done full
Like
frontal and
cried
stuff
in
like
a
that?
bag.
Yeah,
He did that one,
they
didn't
had
he?
full penetrative sex in one of his films.
Wow.
Yeah.
And whose idea was that? Shia LaBeouf's.
Every time you're saying that, I'm thinking of True Grit, where what's her name? Taylor Swift's mate. She's a singer now. She's in all the Pitch Perfect films. Anyway, it's like her.
That you've weirdly seen.
It's her as a kid. The bit where she's like, "Some shot, Mr. LaBeef." Because he shoots. It's Matt Damon, isn't it? He shoots the guy who's trying to kill Jeff Bridges from like a mile away. But Matt Damon's character's fucking useless in the film.
Although even Stevens was a great kid.
Holes.
Holes as well, yeah.
I don't remember.
That's
don't remember that?
young LaBeouf.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Holes is like where he works.
Calf.
He's at like a. He's like at a juvie,
Reveal.
isn't he?
Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, I think they're in juvie in
And they
Holes.
start digging holes.
It's based on a book, I think. Yeah.
I think he's just gone off the rails and is clutching.
He's a phenomenal actor.
Is he?
Yeah. I've heard really good things about the film that's just come out. I think it's called like the something Falcon. I want to say like the Peanut Butter Falcon or something like that.
I do also quite enjoy the fact that he doesn't take himself too seriously. I mean, like, it's clear he's like... Have you seen that where he watched all of his films in a cinema with like his fans and was kind of like clapping along to them and laughing at himself?
Have you heard Ben Affleck's commentary on Armageddon?
No.
There's clips on YouTube. It's so funny because
I'm so glad I got that right. The Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh my god, you did as well. Ben Affleck, he seems quite drunk and he's just like ripping the movie to pieces. It's great. There's a few clips on YouTube. Seek it out.
It's like when someone zoomed in on his face when he was doing the press tour for Batman vs Superman.
So miserable.
Someone was like, "Yo, it's got really bad reviews so far," and it just zooms in on his face and plays Hall &
Hello,
Oates.
darkness, my old friend.
Is that Hall & Oates?
What are they called? Simon and Garfunkel.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh god. I feel like Ben Affleck is a bit of a victim of his own success sometimes.
Yeah.
And that, anyway, this is really off tangent, but that was a really good Batman film stuck inside a terrible Superman film.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Actually, the first, we'll just talk, we're talking about Batman, Superman, but the opening, not the montage of his parents being killed, but the bit when you see the end of Man of Steel from Bruce Wayne's point of view.
Yes.
That action sequence, that is incredible.
Yeah.
That, whatever it is, 5 minutes, and him like running and driving.
That is cool.
When I was in the cinema, I saw that, I was like, wow, this is going to be a good movie.
That's
worse.
what I thought they were going to build the motivation around. That seemed really good. But
anyway, that's a whole nother.
It's quite funny. Is like
Can we just end this fucking episode? We keep going off on tangents.
Fine.
Shia LaBoef though.
Yeah. Good on him. Well, thanks for listening.
Well, I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.
Enjoy your holiday.
Thanks very much.
And we'll have something for you guys, listeners.
Will. Yeah, I don't think I have any weekend plans because
Okay.
I don't have any friends apart from you two.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean 5, 4, 5.
5, yeah.
5.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, cool.
We need to get the mics, man.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Kept the table.
Keep that in.